Okay, people, I just wanted to have a dialogue in regards to funding and building. I titled this Funding and Building. Now, readily, we have some people who would say that they built the world and that they take on an argument about education and academics and building the world. But to tell you the truth, most of their argument was just about a pyramid. They're like, well, we built this pyramid. Okay, so if we want to talk about some of the other statuettes and all the other kind of thing, like the Sphinx and all that, that's all. I mean, it's like once you have explored the world or you see other things of the world, you see monumental buildings. Okay, so these monumental buildings come with art. It defines, let's say, a culture, or the design defines the people, right? So the reason I titled it Funding and Building is because we could talk about reparations and amelioration and all of that kind of stuff. But guess what? We could talk about, being employed and, asking people to donate to make the building work, right? They're funding and we put that money towards building a building, right? Well, this is the thing. Um, if we were to ask people about building, wouldn't that be almost like building a home? Yes. Okay. So that means that our relationship with many people, okay, and that would be starting with our government. Isn't that ironic that we can ask for demands about building? We may ask for demands for land. And some opportunities are there where the funding are, let's say, favorable or reasonable or feasible, and oftentimes, not oftentimes, but sometimes granted because the money is to be used to build. Now, if we're talking about a culture, then it would be, you can identify with many cultures around the world. That's the thing. The reparations money is tied into all of those government programs. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. And if it's not, we have to ask for it and make up here it is the funding opportunity. And then we'll be asking, well, why not? Then at that point, that becomes a issue about why we're not able to use the money to build it. Now, I already have explained to you a cycle, a human rights cycle. And when you read the Declaration of Human Rights, I'm about to insert here, okay? Because I was with a group and they were reading the Independence, and I said, I said, this is a very interesting piece, and when you get to one part of it, well, more than one part of it, it starts to mirror, right? So that being said, when we look at the Declaration of Human Rights, it's talking about intellectual property. It talks about community. It talks about family and a list of other things. The point is, don't get me misunderstood. You want to repair something, you can go right now on a lot of government pages, right? Not only in the United States, but there are other places, including the bank. And we ask for money. But this is the thing. There is certain things that they're asking for that I know readily communicated through BB&D. All that information is not there. And I just figure, hey, it's simple. When you start getting people who are committed just because they have no fun time with knowledge or just want to know more about intelligence, and then they want to share their trades and their education, we can make that happen. It's called kites. I know we have read and heard about Benjamin Franklin. Okay? So when we look at the opportunities that are available to us and we know that we see that there's an economic situation or social economic situation or a social concern, then we apply like we give a flying flip. Not everything has to be tied into the government. As an organization, we can say a few words and have a few choice words at that. Okay, as an individual, the same thing. Whenever our individual liberties are being compromised because they say and join with a group and going through that elongated process, and then as an individual, you're going here, you're going there. Boy, I'm telling you, who, honey, all the little apples to pick and choose from, because all of them talk about apply and apply yourself and show your merits and what rank and what status. Boy, I tell you the truth, honey. Woo, good Lord. And then they want to come, let's see, we have all the reasoning. Like reason for the season. I'm telling you that right now, I know that we've been trying to separate ourselves from a lot of this stuff. It's just like boop, right in our face. But it's just like, honey, I understand about Christmas, the season for the reason or the reason for the season. That salt. Look back, honey, look back. Talk about she went to a pillar of salt. Yes, because it was salty. That means there was a reason to go back. We ain't talk about the sea. Anyway, yes, we want to apply. We want to be involved. Look at the opportunities that are hiring. Okay, we have a lot of people who just kind of fell into, let's just say, that all that homeschooling. Okay, I'm not saying nothing wrong with homeschooling, but I know that we need to get education to be in the places to make some of those choices and decisions, including boop, boop, approved. Isn't that something? We going back and forth and we arguing and fussing and simply apply and submit an application. Ain't that some shit? I mean, I was thinking about Tetris. I just couldn't wait to say something. I had to put on here it is a robe. Tell it. Tell it, tell it, tell it, and tell us and tell them too. The point. The point is, let me try that one more time. Isn't that something? We built the world, but we also have to ask for funding. Okay, we got to be approved, and we have to be approved by the bank or approved by application to try to build your world. And I guess those who did get it be like, "Well, work with them," and then they will be like, "Well, ain't nobody helped them, but here it is, the other man." I don't know. You can think about that if you want to. And a lot of people be like, "Oh, okay, well, these so kind people, they helped us, but here it is, our funding opportunity." And lo and behold, that little cycle, you done come off your land, you have to go back with a loan or something, or with a grant opportunity, and you talk about how you need to build it. Then how in the hell did we build the other part? Now we were running the money and doing the things that we would that was necessary or needed, or how we may see this mighty dollar. Then I think that maybe we would have viewed things a little differently. But let's think about it, okay? Let's be realistic. Simple thing, a simple process to even purchase property. Now, this is the thing. I was thinking about when I got my first little credit card, and one of my coworkers, she said, "Irene, I don't know what to tell you." And I think that at that moment, instead of me looking at what was available to me, I should have looked at purchasing, okay, property. But I didn't. That was not my first choice. I ended up purchasing a car, okay, along with my credit. But if she was, on my side, she would have been like, "Don't get no credit card and don't get no car, no credit card or no car. Get you a piece of property." That's what she would have said. Get a piece of property first, right? Because now that whole statistics, or the way they do that rating and stuff, is a little different. Then let's say now you have a credit card, now you have a car, and then you try to get a property. It is said that everyone tells you that get your property first. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example. But the thing is that now you're looking at purchasing a piece of property, and then you can get your property, and then you can fix it, and then you can make it the way you want it. Look at all that money that's going into that, and you're just one person. Now you have a group of people. Let's say now four other people. Then you may have other people who say, okay, well, listen, we want to go ahead and purchase this land, and then they put in their money, and then they make little sculptures and stuff like that. Money. Now, how in the hell did we do all that? Well, people are doing it. I don't want to sit there and assume that we have not done anything like that. But the process of asking other people for money or to have the government fund, let's say, farming opportunity or uh, um, farming and building economics through innovation, where the money going to come from? So I want us to be easy and not complain, but to apply. Oh, well, here it is. I feel this way about this. And this is what we were seeing with Good Times. With Good Times, James Evans was out there looking for work. And they wanted to find themselves outside of the ghetto or outside of their apartment building. Okay. And his thing was, I'm applying, I'm applying, I'm applying, whether he won the job or not. And we saw colorism and all of that. Then not only just that, there were other things where now we were looking at not redlining alone, but people were not getting the opportunities via the bank. Now, what do you think about the government? Now we could talk about civil issues, but yet we did acknowledge in the 60s and the 50s there were there were segregation. We were already integrated people though. So where did the segregation come from? So there were people already integrated. Maybe if we were talking about neighborhoods, and I just said, well, now when you start looking at the neighborhoods, I just saw a little something was sent to me via email, and it was showing me some of the issues that they were having as it related to segregation. Okay, now if we were looking at a segregated environment of a whole bunch of woke and conscious people, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. There's no sarcasm there. But the thing is that that little swath of land that we would be like, okay, well, this is the part that we have left and reserved it and everything like that, then we would have had monumental reflection of our culture and being in that area, opposed to with the shit that we saw or what we had experienced. And that was ganging, not gaining, ganging. Understand what I'm saying? Okay, so it's just as good as, going door to door. Things have changed for one time. I mean, when you start talking about your neighborly love, it's a little different. You could go door to door, you could go talk to everybody. You start asking them for some money, I don't know, their economic situation. Maybe I should try it. Knock knock. It's the Avon lady. Whew, good Lord. So you understand what I'm saying? So oh, well, here it is. We got this. They didn't do this. I mean, I'm letting the hip hop community, because at that time we saw the green carpet, and when we begin to look at some of our people who have grown up in the entertainment industry, kudos. We applaud you for real. That was good. That's what's up, because they laid out a platform for entertainment. What happened though is a lot of people just looked at doing rhymes and some of the other things. They didn't flourish the way that they could. Okay, so it's one thing. Like I was looking at this because we do want the rain. I mean the river dance. Okay, but I was just looking at the river dance, and they were dancing. They were, you know, synchronized and organized and all that other kind of stuff. And then, you got some people that like they want to be different. So now they want to put a little potluck in it and everything. But that's not the river dance. I mean, it may be fine and dandy to be like, okay, we're different and we just gotta do it some other kind of way, but it's not the river dance. It needs to be choreographed and it needs to be synchronized and it needs to have a position. You can do it and still be a person of color. We are. Anyway, going back to here it is funding and building. You have a phenomenal idea. They want to say, well, listen, you have to have X amount of dollars. Unfortunately, I'm not, I don't want to hit my business. I'm not going to go there with them hands, okay? But you have to have X amount of dollars saved up. Then I like, oh, here it is. I said, Lord have mercy. I've been applying for a while. Not for that, but for here it is, me, you know. We have a grand or a great idea. We need to get people on board for we can make things happen. We want to eat and we want to feed other people. Let's be realistic. It's real. We need business plans. And we need to submit them. And people, they know this, honey. We got people who've been waiting a long time. But that building, you get these people that be at an argument talking about over here about Wall Street and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what? We really do have people who are in banking. Okay. So whenever we're looking at comparing other people, the realistic point and part is that maybe we need to know who is, and then be like, well, listen, we need to size it up and do these like that. And that will be including small businesses. Once the business is open, we got to support them. Okay? We have to support the businesses. But if we have everybody that just want to be like they're just monks and they just, they want to be something different and then we're not encouraging them. I mean, honey, I understand you got the homeschool training, but now you need to go to the institution like the college or the university to further the education just for yourself. Okay? Then once you actually start being inspired by from the things that you learn, now you can kind of detail it by getting the masters, detail it in getting more certificates and stuff like that. I didn't do that, but I'm just saying. And then, you know what I mean? Some people got very, very good resumes. My things just look like it's clerical. It doesn't mean that I'm not bright in other places. Oh my Lord, like complaints. I'm telling you about that emotion. Let's get back to it. That's a whole nother conversation again. But like I had mentioned, listen, oh, it is. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm not going to put it on this video. I'll put it on another one. But about colorism, okay? But the thing is you find yourself on an island, and then it's just you. Just to say it's just you being one person on the island. And you being on the island, and while you're there on the island, how are you going to build it? How are you going to build your island? What if you don't have no tools on the island? How are you going to build it? We could look at two, okay? We could look at Gilligan's Island, but there was more than one person. A 3-hour tour. So we could look at Gilligan's Island. We could look at what did I say? Blue Lagoon. Did I say Blue Lagoon? Yeah. And how you gonna make your food? How you gonna put all the seeds and stuff? So let's be cognitive about what we're talking about when we're talking about our own and not including other um, funding sources. See, the story did start off about barter, and that is like an exchange. I give you something, you give me something in return. The barter. And so when we look at the barter system, there were people during that time. There were people who were exchanging different things, and people had their currency, or they were. I think they had currency because we wouldn't have had all those pirate ships with all that pot of gold. So there was currency. You know what I mean? And at that time, trying to identify which currency was probably more popular than another currency, we have a lot of currency in the world. And the reason why, that's a whole other subject. The point, though, building. And we have, matter of fact, I had a thought or shared a conversation with somebody, and it was about volunteerism. And I said the most people who do the volunteering that we know of are people who are retired or students. Okay, so when we look at people who want or may not have the wealth that they wanted to acquire, they work. Okay, now we built all those different things. Yes, we did. We built it all. Understand? So we can say, okay, you have people ask a question here and there, and they say, well, listen, how did you go about if you were only able to take certain amount of things, which items would you take with you? If you were at sea, if you was on an island, and so readily you have to ask yourself, if it was a barren island, what would you do? And this is the story. This is factual shit, okay? And I'm sorry to use my French that way. But what happened is while we sitting there talking about the Holocaust that was going on in Poland, but there was horrific starvation that was going on in other parts of the continent. Okay, so we're maybe looking at something, but there was some real stuff going on. People were starving and they were without nothing. Matter of fact, there was even some areas that didn't even have trees. Now you would think readily some of those people would have placed trees there, right? Or that they would have been trying to find water, right? But there was swath of land where the people didn't have anything. And I'm gonna tell you about that rice, okay? And it was televised. What does that mean? And then the handouts are, yo, well, these people, they're so grateful. I said, Lord have mercy. Building. We have some fabulous artists and carvers, people who know how to build, people who know how to build with cement. What about those rocks? Building the buildings with rocks. What about that? We got to purchase rocks. We got to purchase stones, not unless we carve them off the mountain. That's how we get so many rocks. Not unless we make the rocks out of cement. You understand what I'm saying? So let's be realistic by applying those things that we know that will be there to help us build our world. We apply for those things via the bank, through opportunities, because we know that we have not built the world that way we want to be built. There was other people who are funding it. Does it make any sense? Outside of purchasing a home that somebody else built, and then you're purchasing the property via the bank, and then you get a 30-year mortgage on that, 15 to 30-year mortgage on that. Some people are fortunate to do 5 years. Then you want to open up your business with that. You maybe want to use that as collateral. How do we do it? We're doing it. But now you want to talk about building a community. Then you build a community by what? Land developers? Yes, land developers will make it happen. And you can say, okay, well, listen, this land developer, and then we put all these different things that are there that are necessary for us to, let's say, to have a livelihood. When you're looking at, let's say, commercial building, the same thing. Matter of fact, even though they closed their doors, I pick up even a department store named Lord and Taylor and Lazarus. Yes. Okay, well, who's going to buy it if they don't have no job? Innovation, my people, economics. Oh, well, here it is. Oh, we got to go over here again. And either way it go, guess what? That money, oh, we got to go over there. We're going to stay over there. We're going to do this. All those people. And where we're working. Understand? So let's pull ourselves together and be realistic. And here it is. We need plans. We need business plans. Like pronto, like yesterday, maybe a few days ago. Why? Because we want to move that forward and say we need some money and we want to work with you so that here it is. We could talk about everybody else, but we're just looking at them at this moment and them at this moment and them and them and them too. Allies, all of that. You go to different places and man, some people, they have roles and positions where they're talking to people in different areas and parts of the world and country. How they're going to help you build and help your people? It's a whole nother subject, but you understand what I'm saying. I think I had this conversation on some other videos. Funding and building. I could give you a list of different government organizations, but I'll just start off with a couple. SBA and FBO. Start there. All the other stuff, let me look at it first. FBO and SBA. .gov. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that I said that clearly and so that we can understand funding and building. Okay? All right. We need some money.